Hello. Today I'm going to be talking to Deanne Minniecon about some of her experiences and some of the lessons she's learned.
I guess there are two things that I've noticed throughout COVID. One of them is that it's created a lot of fear, because there's a lot of Aboriginal and Torres people with chronic disease that we're really worried about, who may not be able to go out for various reasons. And we want to make sure that they're being looked after. Our services are going to these people, especially those over 50, Aboriginal Torres Strait people over 50 and those with chronic disease, and making sure that they're okay. So we've got some great services that are doing that.
What about telehealth?
Telehealth, I think some people are challenged by telehealth and some people are finding it's great, means that they don't have to go outside, and so that it makes them feel more comfortable about not going outside. But then other people are just not, may not have the means to do telehealth and might find it a bit difficult. But we had, during COVID, we had a elders luncheon, and we weren't expecting too many elders to come on board based on the fact of the use of the internet and the web. We were hearing from some of the elders in our conversations around having to debrief, or people debriefing to them around COVID and their experiences and their fears, I guess, and they had no one to debrief to as well. So they were feeling very, overwhelmed with the amount of information and the amount of people that were coming to them. So I said, why don't we just bring them together, that they can sort of support each other in a virtual kind of way. And so we brought them together through the aged care team. We invited the Aboriginal and Nurse Navigator from Queensland Health as well, and the Institute for Urban Indigenous Health elders team. They had a great time. We had one of the ladies sing a song, we had bingo, but we also gave them information around aged care. So there were other alternatives that we can do to make sure that people who are feeling isolated or who need support, we were able to do that virtually. And I think that was a wonderful part of COVID, is finding alternative ways of seeing people, making sure they're not feeling so isolated, and they loved it. They absolutely loved it. Yeah. We are worried about some of the mental health issues as well, so it's really letting people know that they also have access to a lot of social emotional wellbeing services in the region, so at any point in time they can contact those types of services who deliver it, and are able to do it via telephone, or now Anala Wangara's got a beautiful way of delivering their social emotional wellbeing program through front yard yarns, they call it. So because they can't do face-to-face, and come too close, they just have workers sitting outside on the footpath with the other person on the other side of the fence, and doing counselling services that way. We've had some great initiatives from Anala Wangara again around our Gift to Galung participants, which is a suicide prevention program targeted at primary school students, are able to write letters as part of during COVID. We're writing letters to the elders and giving that to them so that they've got some sort of communication via post as well. So we're still connecting our young people with the elders, even though they weren't able to see them. And then that was replicated in Logan as well. So some of the other elders had taken that on board and did the same sort of activity, because it was about connection.
Moving forward, what are the most important things we do as a health network? Like what, in terms of the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander community, how can we serve them better?
Yeah, we've, coming from the elders, their advice to us is, can we just stop talking about COVID sometimes and just talk about our health? Because at the end of the day, when COVID goes away, our health is still pretty bad, and we need to remember that we need to focus on those other sicknesses that are around rather than just constantly focusing on COVID.
What have you heard about during this time that gives you a little spark of hope?
All those, that was the good things. So when I started, I said there were some good things about COVID and there were not so good things. And the good things about COVID was all the support that the community had provided each other during the whole COVID time. So we had our organisations delivering food packages to our elders, cooking food for them. We had people doing transport, just constantly checking on each other, both the young and the old. And so that was the most best part of COVID I could think of is that while we were here panicking in the health system around what are we going to do, the community had already come together and knew exactly what they needed to do for their families and the community. And so I think in a sense, COVID brought community together and showed the strength of the community in knowing what their needs were at that particular time. So that was good.
Thanks very much, Deanne. And thank you. See you next time.